My name is Ivan Bischasnik, and today I'm going to present our work on visualizing distributed system executions. Distributed systems are popular and used for a variety of tasks. Examples include storage, online collaboration, and computation. There are many pros and cons for distributed logic, but as you can see, some of the biggest cons have to do with the complexity of distribution, including failures, race conditions, and other software engineering concerns. Researchers have proposed many techniques to help with distributed system design and implementations. And the research I'll talk about is a type of dynamic behavior analysis. The guiding question in our research is, why does my system behave in a certain way? This question can be made more concrete by asking about how two nodes are communicating or the timing between two distributed events. A typical approach that is used today is log analysis. That is, the developer runs the system, collects logs from each node, and then studies these logs together. There are many challenges in doing this. Most of these have to do with tool support and the inability to order events across nodes. For this reason, we created XVector and the ShiViz tools that help the developers to, first of all, instrument events in a system, and second of all, visualize and study the resulting log from the system. The XVector set of tools are language-specific libraries, and we have many for Java, Go, C, and C++. And these tools are used to instrument the code to log distributed events and the logical timestamps as the system executes. The ShiViz tool is used for then studying the resulting log from the distributed system. Both tools are open source. I'm not going to describe the XVector tool. You can read our paper for more details. Instead, I'll give you a brief demo of ShiViz. ShiViz runs in a browser, and you can load it by going to the following URL. Here, I'm going to use a log collected from a distributed system called Voldemort. And here it is, and I'm seeing it as I scroll through. You can see that this log is very long and complex. When I visualize this log, ShiViz will generate a diagram for me that lists the logged events on the left and then a time space diagram on the right. In this diagram, time flows from top to bottom. The boxes at the top correspond to the individual processes within the distributed system. The circles correspond to the logged events. Each of the logged events has a corresponding circle on the right. The edges that join the two events are actually the happens before relationship. What that means is that the event at the top of the line happened before the event that is joined to that event towards the bottom. There are many things I can use to study the log within the ShiViz. For example, I can click on event on the nodes and hide them to remove detail. I can also search this visualization. I can search this visualization for events that contain some specific text, such as closed, and this will highlight the events that contains that text. You can also hide this you can also search this diagram for specific kinds of structures. There are predefined structures, such as the request response pattern, broadcast and gather, or I can specify my own custom pattern that I want ShiViz to find for me. Besides searching, I can also filter this diagram by a specific process in order to observe just the processes that this process communicated with. And as you note, the log on the left-hand side is retained to represent exactly what I'm seeing in the visualization whenever I make these transformations. The last thing I'll show is how ShiViz can be used to study multiple executions. So if I have a distributed system and I ran it multiple times, I might have several different executions. I might have execution 1 and 2. And what ShiViz can help me to do is to compare these two executions side by side and actually carry out the same set of transformations as before on both executions. This will help me understand the structural similarity and differences between the two executions. Now that I've demoed ShiViz, I'll talk briefly about the evaluation. We evaluated both XVector and ShiViz in several different ways. We showed that the XVector set of tools are viable for debugging during development, and we've instrumented a large distributed storage system with XVector We also evaluated ShiViz in 3 user studies, with controlled studies, open-ended study, and a case study with 2 systems researchers. We found evidence in all 3 studies that ShiViz really does help developers understand their systems, in particular the ordering of events, interaction between nodes, and the comparison between different executions. I should also note that ShiViz has been used by other projects, including projects at Microsoft, the Akka open source actor-based framework, and we have built other tools on top of ShiViz, such as a tool to visualize not just the partial ordering, but also the total ordering between events. In summary, the ShiViz and the X-Vector tools I use to instrument the system and to analyze their behavior. X-Vector captures ordering of events, and ShiViz visualizes and helps developers explore the executions. Both tools are open source, and we hope that you'll try them out. Thank you for listening.